and you'll also get a tour of Casa at the end of it after this talk. Okay. So this is briefly what we are going to see. So before even actually seeing what is the Casa environment and the work we do here, so let us talk about who is a Casa child. This child is typically between the ages of 3 to 6, but rather than just going by the age alone, Dr. Maria Montessori, who is the founder of the Montessori method of education, she invites us to identify this child through two important characteristics, inner characteristics of this child. The first and the most important one is the absorbent mind. It is actually this incredible superpower which lets the child absorb anything and everything in the child's environment in totality without any effort and involuntarily. For example, how many of us have taught our children to speak the language of our home, like say Duolingo does lesson after lesson? We don't need to. The child simply absorbs the language in the environment. So that is the power of the absorbent mind. And also, this absorbent mind works in totality. Be it the language, the movement, the culture, the politeness, the kindness, everything, whatever we exhibit in the environment, the child just absorbs without any discrimination. So many of you would have noticed certain quirks and traits in your children. The way they wave their hand, the way they tilt their head when talking on phone, the way they pretend talk on phone just like their father or mother, the way they hold their hands in the back like the grandpa. All this is the work of the absorbent mind. So this is, you send your children to us here, but we get a window into all of you through your children. Window to you and your home life. So the second most defining characteristic of this child is that this child is a sensorial explorer. So what do I mean by this is that this child makes sense or understands the world and everything in it through his or her senses, by seeing, hearing, tasting, and etc. So in the infancy of the child, you would have seen at some point or the other that the child would try to put everything in the mouth. At that point in time, the mouth is more sensitive than the hands. So the child tries to understand any object by putting it in the mouth and seeing what's the texture, how does it feel, is it soft, is it hard, what does it taste like, and all that. So this sensorial exploration continues well into the Casa years also. The child uses their senses to learn and understand about the world around them. So these are very two important inner characteristics that that is the guiding principle of how we have set up the environment and how learning happens here. So the next thing that we can look at to identify this child is, what is the inner guiding question of this child? It is what? What is this? What is that? What does this do? What does this feel like? So this child wants to understand everything in the world, and the question that guides this child is what? So in this age, in fact, between 0 to 6, there are two major tasks for this child, inner tasks. We don't need to set this task for the child. There are two important tasks. First is self-construction. What do I mean by this? This child who is born without useful movement or language is going to develop these skills in order to be a functioning person in this world. So the 0 to 6 is the age when the child constructs his or her own personality and everything that is needed to live in this world. And the second task is adaptation to the world. One is to build your own skills up to walk, to operate without anybody's help and all that. That is the self-construction. Other is the world is set in a certain way. The environment that you are in, the family that you are born into, everything, it has its own practices. So this child learns to adapt to live in this world. So these are the two major tasks of this child, inner tasks. So, okay. We'll briefly touch upon how transition happens here at TTC from the toddler environment to the Casa environment. So basically we have some criteria. The child should be about 2.5 to 3 years of age. The child has toilet independence. We have spoke about this extensively in the last session. And the child is emotionally well settled in school, as in the child is happy to come to school. And the child should be able to follow simple instructions. These are the criteria that we use to transition the child from toddler to CASA environment. And the transition itself is very gentle. A trusted adult from the toddler environment accompanies the child and comes to the CASA environment and stays with the child until the child develops the trust in the CASA adult and the environment. So in the beginning, it would be just like say 15 minutes or even 10 minutes. The child may come stay there for 10 minutes and say, I want to go back. Yes, you can go back. And the adult, the toddler adult who the child trusts is going to stay there as long as the child wants. And slowly they'll start to spend more and more time there and they'll become a full-timer in CASA. This process takes anywhere between 2 weeks and sometimes even 1 month. We don't rush it. It is a very gentle transition. Okay, now let us actually look at the CASA environment. You would have all heard about or listened about the toddler environment and how it is set up. Even in CASA, the core of it is to support, it's prepared with the child's need for independence. And everything in this classroom is set up, it is child-sized, intentional, and purposeful. So one of the most important points about this CASA environment is the order. In this age, as in this 3 to 6 years of age, and also 0 to 6 actually, the external order is very important and that gives the child a sense of security. What do I mean by that? Say I want to do this task. I know that all the materials that I need for this task are in this tray, in this shelf. Today, tomorrow, and forever. So there is an order there. I need to use the toilet. I know that the toilet has the step stool which I can use. Everything is set up to my height and I can use it without anybody's help. The adult in CASA, a toddler. The adult is going to be the same today and tomorrow, same as in not exactly, I don't mean exactly the person is going to be the same, but how the person behaves, how the person responds to you is going to be the same. You you do something which is, you spill something, the adult is still going to be the same with you. So there is not going to be any variation. This constancy and consistency gives the external order. And this external order helps in building the internal order. So what do I mean by internal order? First is clear thinking. What is that? Is everything else has been taken care of. Everything I need to do, the task is taken care of. I don't need to worry about anything. I don't need to worry about what is going to happen. Will it be there? Will it be here? Will this person come? Will this person say this? No, I don't have any of those concerns. I can focus solely on the challenge at hand. So that helps to focus on the work at hand. It also gives emotional stability. The pace here in CASA is set up to be my pace, as in the child's pace. The child is going to be at a slower pace than the adults. So here the environment is set up for that and the child knows that. That gives all the freedom for the child to operate in their own pace. And the independence that comes with it, with the way the environment is set up, the child is able to do all things for himself or herself up to how much he can. The space is set up to that. This much of internal order, this much of predictability in the environment gives a sense of safety to the child. So that is why order is very important in the CASA classroom, and that's how it is set up. So everything is set up here for the child to succeed in the tasks they take up. One other point is that the CASA space, if you look at it, it is uncluttered, beautiful, and harmonious. The beauty here is not just decorative or performative. It is the respect that we show to the child. How do I say this? When we have a very respected, esteemed guest visiting our houses, most of us, what do? We take that extra care to present our house beautifully or even present ourselves well grown because we have high respect and high regards for this child. Very similarly, in the CASA classroom, our respect towards this child, we show it through maintaining the class very beautifully and harmoniously. And also Casa is a very movement friendly place. Movement is not a break from learning in Casa. Movement is learning because this child is still perfecting their movements. Okay. Next, we are moving into the different areas of learning inside the Casa classroom. The first one is the practical life area. So this is typically the first space or first area the child would start working with. It has all the real life purposeful activities. To list some of the activities that are here, it would be pouring, washing, sweeping, mopping, folding, all these real life activities. They are not pretend activities, they meet real human needs. See, through practical life activities, the child connects to the environment. Before the child has the opportunity to work with all these practical life um, work, I can say, yeah. Until then, it's all a mystery. Say, for example, buttoning the shirt. That is something the child has seen adults do. Most likely, the parents or someone would have helped the child button their clothes until then. So that is something that, okay, I can't do this because I don't know how to do this. But when we present it at the appropriate time in the classroom in a child-sized material with no expectation that so you know we are going to go out now, you need to get dressed quickly. No, we don't have any of that hurry. So in this material, you can repeat. The adult shows how to do that in a way that the child can see and absorb, and the child has all the time in the world to do that, and the child can repeat for as long as they want. You should actually see the focus and the concentration the child shows when working on that. And once they are able to actually do that, they come out with the sense of, now I can do this. This is one small example. We have so many other things in the classroom that, unravels the classroom. Everything was a mystery before, but now slowly I can do sweeping. I can see, I've seen people do sweeping at home. I've seen people mop at home, wash at home, but I have, in many places, I have not been let to do that. Now I have been shown how to do that in a way that helps me succeed. So this, nothing is anymore a mystery in the classroom or in the environment. So that makes the child connect to the environment much more. So they start belonging to the environment, and the environment start belonging to them. And so as a result, a lot of independence, and because when you do all these real life purposeful activities, the child can dress themselves, the child can serve food for themselves. All these come out as a result of these activities. Oh, I would just like to share an anecdote. There is this activity called folding. You just have square clothes which we fold according to some guidelines. Guidelines as in there is a line, there is a physical line, so you show how to fold. So I showed a child this work. So the child did a lot of folding that day. And what I noticed the next day was that after finishing his snack, he tried to fold it back, how we show. So the child connects to the material with the real life. So it has a connection to how they live life also. So that builds the self-confidence. Until then, the child would have asked for someone's help to do that, or they would have just put it inside their bag. But now they know how to do it. So, and yeah, here we don't have any fear of making mistakes. When there are mishaps will happen because they are still perfecting their movements. We just show them how to deal with that and move on. And all these works are indirect preparation for language and math. How do I say that? When you have any activity presented, any work presented in this practical life area, we name everything. So we should remember that this is a child who wants to know what is this, what is this, what is this. So we name everything. This is a bowl. These are a pair of tongs. These are a pair of scissors. This is a tray. So the child learns a lot of vocabulary orally through this work. And if you see, it is all the work of the hand. Any work of the hand builds the hand muscles and also their ability to grip things. So this is in preparation for writing as well. And interestingly, why do we say even this is a preparation for math? For example, take any even pouring activity. You have a jar, you take the grains and pour it into 3 containers. What is your mind doing? You are thinking, okay, I have so much. I need to divide it equally between these three. Equally or not, doesn't matter, but I'm going to divide it between these three. This is all the mathematical work in mind. I'm going to fold a cloth. So you see, how much do I have to lift? How much do I have to bring it so that we fold it in half? It is a work for the mathematical mind. So this is also in preparation for language and math later. Okay, some of you may think, what is this pouring and washing? They all look like something I can do at home. Why should I send my child to school to do pouring and washing? Why can't this time be used for academic work instead? So let us try a simple. Oh no! Before that, even let us consider washing clothes. Why do we wash clothes at home? Okay, most of us have washing machines. Let's just set aside that fact. But why do we wash clothes? Because we want clean clothes. So mostly at home, you don't have the opportunity to let the child do whatever they want for however long they want, because you want to get that work done. Tomorrow you need that for dressing up. So you don't have the space, the mental space all the time. Mostly, if as parents you can do, that is great. But here we always have that space and time for the child to repeat and practice. So, and also here there are absolutely no fear of making mistakes. You can spill, you will spill, because you're still learning how to pour. You will spill while washing. There'll be a lot of soap. There'll be a lot of puddles. But we all come together to clean it up. Again, there is something else. See, again in the pouring activity, usually we show this work to someone who is 2.5 to 3 years old, very young children. So when they pour, there'll be a lot of spills. Sometimes we have these little green grams, they spill all over the class. It is very overwhelming for the child to, gather it up and put it up. No one has to say anything. Children from all parts of the classroom just come. Just come and help. You don't have to, there is no verbal indication from the adult or even from the child himself. The community comes together to help this small child. So this space is very safe for them to try, repeat, and perfect their movements. So in this, the actual skill of washing clothes is just a byproduct. It just comes because they repeated it so many times. It is not the end goal of this activity. Pouring, we would set up some pouring stations here. Any parent who wants to come and experience that, try that, can come now. My grip needs to be stronger so that throughout the pouring, I'm able to hold on to it. So it is the hand grip development and the concentration. I want to pour successfully. Sometimes I may not, sometimes there may be spills, but I want to actually pour it inside this container only. How can that happen? Only when I focus on the work at hand. At the end of it all, what do I feel? I can now pour myself a cup of water. The independence. I don't need anybody to come and pour me a cup of water. I can do it. So these are all the goals. These are all the inner goals inside this simple activity of pouring. So likewise, we have many other activities, many other work inside the practical life area, which, like I said before, the folding and all that, they all come in a progression. Giving opportunity for repeated movements, and all this builds self-confidence, and this also is in preparation for language and math later. So they're all simple, purposeful, real life activities. Okay. We saw earlier that the child is a very sensorial being, and we have one whole area in the classroom that is there to help them experience various sensations and categorize them. The sensations themselves are very abstract, qualitative, right? But Dr. Montessori has devised materials which bring out the particular sense that we are working on by keeping everything else constant. So the child is able to individually work on different senses. So that is how the materials here are. And here the children also learn the precise languages: large, small, larger, smaller, largest, smallest. So all these positives, comparatives and superlatives, all this precise language is also given while working with the sensorial materials. Let us consider the pink tower material. So, Preeti, who is our elementary guide, is going to show you how we work with the pink tower material. Many of you would have seen this pink tower material, right? It is just a series of 10 wooden pink cubes in precisely varying sizes. The aim is to build a tower, starting from the largest in the bottom to the smallest on top. That is all the aim is. If you are not able to see, you can stand or come closer, whatever works for you. Thank you. So, so you saw how the tower is being built. If you see here, the color of all the cubes here are the same, the material is the same, the shape is the same, the texture is the same. The only thing that varies is the size, the differing sizes. So when the child works with this, the visual sense is honed, the visual perception is honed, and it builds the spatial awareness in 3 dimensions. So you have to figure out which one goes below and which one comes next. So it is quite a work for the child. It also strengthens the hand muscles. If you see the larger cubes in the bottom, they are not light, they are pretty heavy. So they need to hold them with a firm grip. And this also is in preparation for writing later, because your finger grip is worked on here. And I feel one of the beautiful aspects of this material is nobody has to tell the child this has been built correctly or not. The visual sense of the child tells him or her. The child has seen, the material is set up like this in the classroom, so the children take one by one. The child takes one by one and builds. So to arrive at a space where they can actually build a tower, it takes some time. So even okay, I'll show you, there is a picture of a child with the pink tower. This child was working on pink tower for quite some time, building smaller towers. This was the day he actually built a full tower, all the 10 cubes stacked one on top of another. It may not be perfect. You can see some of the cubes are up and down. This child will go back to work on it because they know that it needs to be like this. I don't have to tell anything. Nobody has to tell anything. The child's own visual sense will tell that there is some more work that needs to be done. And this is self-error correction is one of the cornerstones of this sensorial area, we should say. And this is also helping, this will help all through the life, correcting your own mistakes. Yes, sure, sure.
So this characteristics of Montessori materials is called control of error. So it's inbuilt. Most materials will be very apparent like this. In other materials it will be subtle, but the control of error is very important because, as she said, adults don't have to intervene and tell the child that this is wrong. They intuitively, because if this material is presented like this, they know how it is supposed to be, and they will try to replicate this. In the child body, they might manage to build it up, but even then, they might feel it's not yet there. It's not wrong, it's not perfect, but it's not yet there. So that sense of perfection, and it is not from the adult, it is from the intuitive thing of this feels very stable to me. Pathina, it feels very stable. If you see maybe even that, it feels a bit precarious. So what sort of emotion will this, as opposed to that, will turn for us inside? This will make us feel more stable. So that drives the child to make it more stable. So Vidya doesn't have to tell, no, this is not perfect, this is not the way it is supposed to be. The child is intuitively driven, and there is also the model that this is how it is presented. So this is a life skill where the child learns that I know how it is supposed to be intuitively, and I can trust my own intuition, and I can keep trying over and over again. There is no one to tell me enough. We have done it 40 times today, enough. There's never going to say that. We know of children, both in this school and other school, it pushes hours together with this particular material. So they are free to work with the material for as long as they want until they feel they have mastered it. So that is how important, and this life skill they carry forward their whole life, where an authority or someone, or a teacher or a parent, no one has to tell me that I am wrong. I learn how to learn. That is a skill that children carry throughout their life.
So, and also this child here, he sat there admiring what he did for a couple of minutes. You can see that joy in his face, that smile in his face, because this was the first time he could build it up to this. So that gives a lot of self-confidence to the child, I would believe. Not even self-confidence, joy, a lot of joy. Look at his face. He is there with a smile. He was there with a smile for 2 whole minutes sitting and looking at what he had done, because this was the first time he had done it. So this is about the visual sense. We also have materials that work with the other senses: tactile for touch, for smelling, olfactory, tasting, gustatory, and auditory for hearing. So all the senses have different materials to work on. So for me, the crux of all the sensorial materials and the sensorial area is that the child is able to have a richer quality of life. So, how do I say this? Let us take an example. We've all visited museums or galleries. So, there are typically 2 types of people. One who would stand in front of the artwork, linger, take the time to, take in the finer details and appreciate the beauty in it. And there will be others who will just quickly walk across the aisle clicking away photos. So these are 2 different people. You can see the beauty, the artwork or the painting or the sculpture or whatever it may be, that was the same. That was the same for both these people, but one enjoyed it, whereas other did not really get to see the beauty in it. So beauty is truly in the eye of the beholder, and here in Casa we train it at the right time, when they are being the sensorial explorers, because this stage of being a sensorial explorer is not going to last forever. It is going to be there for some time, and then the children move on to other things. So at this time we help them to experience various sensations, discriminate between different senses and all that. So so their tastes get nuanced, and they truly appreciate the finer things in life. We can even forget about the finer things in life. They can appreciate beauty in normal, everyday things in life. So that is what I mean when I say they go on to have a richer quality of life. Anything? Yeah, sure.
So this sensorial development, for us as adults, not all our five senses have developed to the best, because we didn't have the exposure to such materials, or we didn't have the scope to focus on a single material. So this so this material, as she said, texture is same, color is same, size is same, but the size is different. So the
Shape
shape is
is
same and the size is different. So this is called isolation of the figure in Montessori method. So the child is free focused only on differentiating the size of the baby. They don't have to bother about anything else. So this kind of focus develops the sense of size alone. So in the matter over material, there is another material where only the texture will change. Rather than we say everything else will be the same, but only the texture will change. So when the child works on that, that particular sense, figure or the nerve endings, whatever develops with the. So as you can see, how each material will specifically develop one sense at a time. So when we look at the outside world, imagine the difference between a child, an adult who was a child who was given experiences to hone their senses so much, how will they perceive the world? Versus someone, a child who has not been given the chance to develop all this. And what differences, how their life experiences will differ, both from in terms of opportunities, financial opportunities that they can, because of these abilities that open up to them, or the sheer joy as they feel, the sheer joy of experiencing the world. So it makes a huge difference. And one more point I want to add. I think this clear. So at the end of the day, 0 to 6, the core time when a child is developing their senses, it's very important that, so that is why we also say, at least let your child stay in Montessori till 6 years. If you want to move the child to mainstream school, please wait at least till 6 years, if not 12, because this is the time that they are developing their senses. They are not learning math or English directly. Everything is sensorial work. English is also sensorial, touch based only. We have standard others, which is again sensorial work. So let them have that foundation of sensorial development. Uh, that's very important.
Thank you. So now let's move on to the language area in the classroom. This child comes in with already the oral language at some level of development, and we build upon this foundation. Um, so there are lots of opportunities for the children in Casa to practice their oral language. We have reading books, sharing stories. In a group, we share what happened, anything that, because sometimes children come with a lot of things to tell. So we all sit in a group, everybody has an opportunity to share what they want to share. But if a child is not ready, they can just watch. Even that is helping in the oral development, oral language development. See, so, and adults here in the classroom, we use rich, precise language. We don't dumb down to talk to the 2-year-old because we believe in the power of the absorbent mind. This child is building himself. This child is building his or her own language skills. So at this time, you have to give the language that they are aspiring to. So we give the rich, precise language here. So along with the oral language, literacy unfolds through 3 parallel tracks. Literacy is reading and writing. First, we recognize different individual sounds in a word. Sound. So words are not something that just dropped out of sky. The words are made of different sounds put together. So we bring, thank you. So we bring the awareness to the child that words are made up of sounds. Words they already know through the oral language. So we play this game called sound game. It's called a game, but it is work in the end of it. Everything is work for that matter in the Casa classroom. So the aim of this material, the sound game, is to let the child be aware that words are made of sounds and how to identify the sounds. This happens from the time they enter at 2.5 or 3 until even till 5.5. This keeps going on in different stages. Let us just play this sound game. So the first stage of it would be to recognize the starting sounds of words. Okay, I think you can see this. This is a cat. Okay, this is a cat. it's too small. So how we start is, I have something in my hand that starts with the sound k. So similarly, we'll take other objects and it goes on. This is an onion. I have something in my hand that starts with the sound o. What is this? So once they know the name already. This is onion, they know this is tomato, they know. But we bring attention that these words are made of sounds. And initially, we are going to only focus on the starting sounds. So after some time of working with this pouch, we expand our search for the entire environment. There is something above me that starts with the sound fan. Okay, so it's not this, the sounds and words are not associated with just what is inside this pouch. This is just for you to start. This is just for the initial practice. Once you know this, then every word, everything, the environment, everything has a starting sound. So that's what we bring. So we make, even sometimes, this usually we play in a group. We work in a group. So we say there is someone in this group whose name starts with A. So this way we make it varied. So once the starting sound is something that the children are very comfortable recognizing, we move on to the ending sounds. Say for example, again let's take something from here. This is a hat. There is something in my hand that starts with the sound h and ends with the sound t. So it is not just the starting sound now, the ending of the word also has a sound. So slowly it goes in that all the words are made of some sounds put together. So once the starting sound and the ending sound, this has been practiced a lot. We try recognizing all the sounds in a word. So let us take a word dog. So let us try to find out all the sounds in this word. D, O, G, dog. So any word, after a lot of practice with this, the child can recognize the sounds in any word. There is train. T, r, I, n. So they are able to make out the individual sounds in a word. So this is the first track through which, so they are not reading yet, they are not writing yet, but this is all in preparation for literacy. Preparing the hand for writing. Yes, the children have had a lot of practice, like we already saw in the practical life and sensorial area, to work with their hands. So to a certain extent, their hand has been prepared. But now we have material where the child can hold the pencil. Now what is important when writing comes is the control. To make a mark from here to there, that is one level. But to start the mark and stop it here and then bring it here, that's the control. So we have materials in the classroom where the children practice the control, not through writing the alphabet initially, but through some other work. So that is also done. That is the second track in the literacy. Third one is the alphabet. Yeah, thank you. Okay. So now the child knows or is learning that words are made of sounds, and they are aware of the different sounds in English language. Now we introduce the sandpaper letters which they will associate the sound and the symbol. So they already know the sound a. Cat is made of k and t, the a. They know the a. But with the sandpaper letters material, they also learn how to make a as a symbol. They know this. So now their hands are not ready for writing. They haven't started writing yet, but their muscle memory of how to write a is being developed. So they wrote, even if you can't hold a pencil, you know how to write a. So all these things, the rich oral language, very important. Along with this, all these three literacy agents, I would say, recognizing the sounds, preparing the hand, and actually the alphabet itself, how the alphabet looks like and what is the direction of writing, all that is shown. And when they all culminate, the writing just comes. We don't have to do writing practice, giving a lot of pages, you write A, and not like that. When all these come together, writing happens. Yes, in Casa, writing comes before reading. So writing is putting out your own thought on paper, aided by all this preparation that has happened. But reading is you're actually reading someone else's thoughts. Already it is a challenge for you because you're starting to read, you are reading, you're making sense of the words, and you're trying to make sense what the other person is trying to convey to you. Whereas writing is your own thought, you know that part is already taken away. So it's only the mechanics of how to put it into paper is there. So writing always comes before reading here. And in time, reading also arrives. We have lots of supplementary materials. We know children are in different stages of reading, different stages of recognizing the sounds, how to put the sounds together. So we have materials which will have only such sounds which the child can identify. We have a lot of booklets and all which they can read. So not the whole book which they are not, which they are unable to yet read fully. We have materials which is only to their level of understanding at that point. We have a lot of reading materials. So with all that, reading also arrives quite soon after. But this reading is not the sort of reading where you just read to understand the words. We call it total reading, where the child is able to immerse, enjoy and derive pleasure out of reading, get exported to the scene of the story and connect with the characters in the story. That kind of reading, not just reading to understand what is written. So that is how reading, so we call it the child arrives at reading and writing. We don't teach reading and writing here. We also have a lot of work with grammar. So the children are aware of the grammatical concepts. They are aware of the functions that different words have in a sentence. But they may not know the terminology, the conjunctions and prepositions. They may not know the words, but they know what conjunctions do. They know what prepositions do. They learn the function of words in the through materials here. Anything? Sorry? Yeah, yes. You can look at the sandpaper letters. You can see how they feel. Sorry, this way. Anyone, you can try to trace it. You want to add something? You want to add something? Okay. Yeah.
So the language is only English?
English and Tamil.
Okay.
You'll see when you come to the classroom, you'll see the Tamil material as well. We have all Tamil sandpaper materials. We have Tamil storybooks. We speak in Tamil.
I feel like English is a harder language to learn. Like
Tamil is phonetic. Imma, correct. It is phonetic Tamil.
You have to know that T and H make
Yes,
the
yes.
harder.
Right. English is quirky.
Is there any additional language that you're planning? Because I think it's high time for them.
Uh,
0 to 6 na easier
languages can be taken. I think I would let Sita answer that. Or Amrit.
we are trying to bring in Hindi. We have materials
Material.
for Hindi. We are trying to bring in. Otherwise, in the mother method, we don't have other languages. Material it is not there for Indian language. So it is hard for us to do for any other language. The maximum we can do is English, Tamil, and Hindi. That's the maximum.
How do you use like for this sound game, for example?
Right?
You are rolling and saying this starts with O. But my son will look at it and say very high. So how do you deal with
children come with the language of the home. Vengayam is onion in English. That's how we start with. See, one interesting thing is we have two pouches in the classroom like this. One is for English, one is for Tamil. So we have it like that. So when we take the pouch which we usually work with for English, children say the English words, the English names. The other pouch they know is Tamil. Even a child who has no introduction to Tamil says, "Idu nilakadalai." The child says that, who has no introduction or familiarity with Tamil.
That's where oral language, sorry.
Yes,
That's where
yes.
oral language comes in. And the toddler and they start. Because Inga, we are starting with alphabets. In the sense, first letter, last letter. Here we have only miniatures and we keep saying the words. So oral language starts first and then it goes to இந்த சண்டெல்லாம் வந்து toddlerல last week I said flower, there is flower, there are flowers in it. Flower இல்ல இது பூ அப்படின்னு சண்டை so that is their English Tamil difference.
Material wise, the last of the areas that the children start working with is the math work, but their extensive work in practical life and sensorial areas have prepared them for math. All the pouring, all the precise pouring, all the grading that they have done in the sensorial work, from arranging from I think you can see. Yes, see, in this material it is the same color in different hues, so the child grades them from lightest to darkest. All this is in preparation for mathematics. Mathematics, we have ascending order and descending order. This is a connection to that. So extensive preparation for mathematics has already happened when they come into the math area. Yes, and the mantra here for any math work is concrete to abstract. What do I mean from that is, any math concept, you first experience it in a material, you experience it sensorially, and only then we go for abstract. Abstract is the numerals, the numbers 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3 can come later, but you need to experience what is 1, what is 2. So this is one of the very first material that a child would work on when we start mathematics. So we have 1, 2 and 3 laid out. So the experience, 1 is smaller, 2 is larger, 3 is even larger, and they're all differing by the same amount of quantity. So after they get a lot of experience understanding what quantity is, only then we introduce symbols. So here you see, so in one whole object, you can, with the different markings, you can find out 1, 2, 3, you can count. Whereas counting is also discrete objects. You can take one object, 2 objects, 3 objects, that also. So we have for whole as well as in discrete. So everywhere we go from concrete and then to abstract.
Is abacus part of
No, abacus material.
age of 4 is a good age.
I see. Okay. It is not a part of the standard Montessori material. So soon after, and when the child is introduced to the quantity, by quantity I mean counting objects, counting sections on a whole rod and all that. So once the counting and quantity is introduced and the symbols from 0 to 9 are introduced, later we move on to the decimal system. In this current world, we use only decimal system as our way of working with numbers. So I'll show you a material how we show to the children. Thank you. Okay, so here, this is what we call the golden beads material. This is the material that we use to introduce the decimal system first. So like what I said, concrete comes first. So this is the sensorial experiencing of different categories. So when we all would have studied decimal system in school, we would have studied ones, tens, hundreds and thousands, right? The different categories. Here we call them units, tens, hundreds and thousands. And this is a unit. This is a single unit. You can touch, you can explore. This is one whole unit. The next category of 10. You can touch, feel, you can count. If you count, you will see that there are 10 of these units in a 10. Next we have is 100. It is made of 10 tens. Here also the child is able to sensorially explore this material and see how different this is from a unit. 100 of this make this. And 10 of the tens make 100. They can verify, they can check, and they can experience how different it is. What is the difference? How small the unit is and how large 100 is. They can experience it sensorially. And then comes the next category of 1000. This is 1000. This is a unit. So when a child does this, they know one or a unit is such a small number, and 1000 it is made of 1000 of such units. So they are able to experience this sensorially. And also this is much heavier. So we get, in a lot of ways it goes in the child that a unit is a very small number. This is the first small whole, and 1000 is made up of 1000 units. Actually, there is also some work in the material where this 1000 is unraveled as a chain. The children count all the units in the chain and they verify for themselves that there is actually 1000 here. So that comes maybe when the child is 4.5 or 5 years old. So they get to actually prove, yes, there are 1000 units in this.
Interestingly, just how many of you are able to believe that there are 1000 trees in this? Does it seem? Yeah. So 1000 trees is such a small. Yeah. So that's because we never had the opportunity to feel 1000 units in our life.
Actually, the opposite. I went to a Montessori school, and this is still how I think of numbers in my life. I do addition, it's still those beats.
Yes.
So that is what we mean by concrete. The way we think about units and thousands itself is so concrete. I wish I studied it.
So the difference is just stark, and when the child experiences it and not just hears it or sees that 1000 is greater than 1, it much more than that. When the child experiences 1000 and a 1, the difference is stark, and the understanding of these different categories is internalized. Yes. For their small hands, this is actually quite huge. So also here I would like to mention, because this child is 3-year-old or 4-year-old, we are not showing numbers like 4, 5 and 6. We are showing numbers which are huge. The child, when they write 3,412. It's a number that a 3-year-old or a 4-year-old will handle. Okay, this is the counting material I just spoke to you about. So at the end of it, you'll see this golden chain, right? It is this unraveled chain of this cube where the child will lay it up. It actually goes from one end of the classroom to the other end and also loops around when they stretch it out fully and they count. It is an activity that happens for a full day. They start from in the morning, they start counting. Usually by 2:45, they end with 1000. So when they end with 1000, they know that this is made of actually 1000 units. So there is a lot of counting practice at the end of the day. And they can identify 654, the word. They can say the numerals in words as well. Okay. We also introduced the arithmetic operations, addition, subtraction, multiplication and division. Again the same mantra, from concrete to abstract. Writing on papers come at the very end, which is abstract for us. It starts with actually doing counting using the golden beads and various other different ways. We slowly make it a little more abstract, and then finally on the paper. Okay. One interesting thing is 5-year-olds here work with fractions. Again the same, we start with concrete materials and they move on to write fractions. They do arithmetic operations on fractions too, which actually is incredible. I don't think it happens anywhere else as in outside of Montessori spaces. 5-year-olds work with fractions because they know that this is a whole and they know that this whole can be further divided. So that idea we already give here in Casa, and they operate with the fractions also. Okay. Okay. We also have an art area in the classroom. Here we don't focus on the outcomes, we focus on the foundational skills. Some of the work that is here are drawing, cutting, pasting, painting, sewing. We don't tell make this art, make that art. We show them how to use this material. We show them how to loop this needle into the board, how to use the paint brushes. So we give them the skills. The creative output is always from the child. So with the skills and the freedom, the creativity just flows. On some days, our classroom's drying board looks like this. Yeah, sure.
Art as a skill, yes, it's very important for them to have a good sense of the color grading, skill usage of brushes, material, different types of media, and all that. But psychologically speaking, art is a window into the world of the child. So, what difference can you see between the work of this work and this work? What are your first impressions?
They like organized things.
So this child, right now, when they were doing the art, their need was order. They wanted to have a sense of order. So they actually made the order that they wanted. But this child, as I'm just saying, we really don't know. There is no way for us to interpret. I'm just saying, what can we safely assume regarding the psychological landscape of that child at that particular moment? Make a mess.
Mixing of colors.
A mixing of
Colors.
Yeah, it can be wanting to mix, wanting to explore, or expression of some emotion, anger, or agitation, or I just want to feel the whole thing and feel full.
Not being perfect.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that is the power of art when held by a adult who is aware of the power of art and how it can help in both the cognitive construction and the emotional expression also.
Thank you.
How often do they have the art sessions?
Art they can do every day. We have a shelf with all the art materials. For all this work, there are materials on the shelf. Whenever they choose to, they can take. Additionally, on Fridays, we explore art a little more. We sit and try new things. Yesterday, we tried string art. Yes, we try different things on Fridays, but other days, they're always free to take up art also.
Do we have track of how often they the particular art எத்தனை நாள் பண்றாங்க?
We have this transparent classroom map, right? I hope you're all seeing that. You will see your child's activity every day in that site. So you can see. Yeah, sorry.
I just wanted to understand. ஒரு specific domain ல அவங்க spend பண்றாங்க.
We have observation records, so which show that this child comes back again and again to this work. So we show further what they can do in this. We present to them because at this stage they are interested in this material or in this area in the classroom. So we have observation records internally for that. Yes, we do track. Every day I see most children work with art every day at least once. What we do on Fridays is as an add-on to that. We all sit together and do art. Okay, this is about all the learning areas inside the classroom. So I'll also briefly touch upon the transition to the elementary classroom. So there is a shift you can notice that happens around 5.5 years of age to this child. We saw in the first slide, what is the guiding question of this child? Do you remember? What? Yes. That what slowly turns to why. Why is it set up like this? Why do I have to do this? Why? The question becomes why. And this child has now spent nearly 6 years building himself or herself up. They now can speak clearly. They can communicate what they want to communicate. They can do all the what things they need. They can go reach for it, they can get it, they can feed themselves, they can use the toilet independently, they can live life like a mini adult. They have practiced and they have honed their independence. They have come to a very good space there. So now their focus expands outside. They are interested in their peers, they are interested in their outer world and their environment. So, in the Montessori terms, we call this a birth of a new child. So, a new child is going to emerge. For this new child, we have a new classroom, that is an elementary classroom, which will help support this child who is about 5.5 years of age. Here in TTC, we have certain criteria for transition to the elementary classroom. Should be around 5.5 years of age, and the child should be able to read, write, and have an understanding of the 4 math operations. The child should be able to work independently, choose a work with focus, and is able to finish the work. So these are the main criteria we roughly look at before transitioning a child to the elementary class. And again, as all the transitions here at TTC, this transition to the elementary classroom also will happen very gradually. The child goes for a small amount of time. The first time the child goes with the Casa adult to the elementary classroom and spends some time, and slowly we build up to being a full-timer. This also could take up to 1 month or more. So this is all I wanted to talk to you about. I hope you all have an idea about the Casa environment. Many of you would have already had a little bit more from us. So you have an understanding of what work we do here, and also more importantly, what work your child does here in the classroom that prepares them for, I would say, the further schooling in elementary classroom or even for life. This is what I wanted to share. Thank you very much for your time.
And add a few points.
Yes.
So if last time we saw about toddler and now we are spoken about Casa. So if you see a child enters toddler and gradually comes to the age of 6. Continuity is very important because in order we don't introduce alphabets as it's one day, one syllabus, we build skill after skill, and then they arrive at reading, writing, and whatever that is expected at 6. So, whatever is so continuity is very important. So some of us 3 years school ku ஒரு வாரம் போலனா என்ன ஒரு மாசம் போலனா என்ன okay 1 month what if we don't go to school for a week or 10 days, it's fine, but it does affect the child's development and skill building. So continuity, attendance is very important. That's why I at times send message that don't take vacations during weekdays for a long time. So that definitely affects the child's development here, because it is not one day. We can't compensate anything in one day. That is one point. The importance of attendance and being regular to school every day. That is one. And second is again from toddler to Casa and till the age of 6. If you are choosing a Montessori system, and if you're trying to pull the child out to a mainstream at around 3 or 4, it might not work for the child, because traditional system works very differently. At 3 they introduce alphabets in a different way, they introduce writing in a different way, wherein at 3 here we have developed other skills. So it might be a misfit for the child to adapt from a Montessori system to a traditional system in between Casa. So if you choose to be in a Casa environment, if you choose to be in a Montessori setup, that's why we keep saying stay at least till 6, because then when the child shifts out, it is easy to cope up with the traditional system, because they already have built that sense of self and also the skills. But pulling the child out of a Montessori system in between 3 to 6 or 0 to 6 is going to be a bit hard. I wanted, and then toileting, we saw it last time. So again, toileting is also a major portion in
toddler and Casa. So we expect parents to do the same thing or work with us parallelly at home, so that functional independence is anyways part of a Montessori environment. It will be easy for the child. So these 3 points I wanted to add. Do you have something to say?
With the Montessori versus traditional, especially when it comes to language and math also, the way children learn is in the Montessori way, it is very aligned to their own total development. They will write only when the writing age and the age they want to express will be very aligned. So, and alphabets, learning the shapes of alphabets, it's very aligned to their own sensorial, absorbent mind and the specific sensitive periods aligned are here. But in a traditional setup, it will be forced on them. Even then, when their own body and mind is not ready, they will be trained. They won't be guided to learn on their own. They will be trained. It will be muscle memory. It will be it's memory based. It's not body based. So it is very misaligned. When a child 3 years of progressive the expectation of them is actually unfair. The expectation of the traditional school, mainstream school is unfair of them because their body and mind is not ready. That is why the Montessori way of learning is very aligned to them. So that is also one point I want you to learn that if a child goes there, they will face difficulties, and the difficulty is because the system is not aligned to their developmental way of developing.
Questions?
If you have any questions.
Like how you looked at me for that.
For? Sorry.
Questions are in the party.
No,
இதெல்லாம் போனாலே நிறைய கேள்வி
I promise I didn't have any of that in my mind.
The best thing Montessori is giving them is a space that it's okay to make mistakes
Yes.
and learn at your pace.
Right.
Because I think all of us who are brought up in that era, we have that.
Right.
If we make a mistake, then you cannot try other opportunities. So that is good for the long run.
Yes, definitely. Definitely.
How many adults are in Casa and
One.
just eight?
Just one. Yes.
When I asked the everyone who his best friends are, we start with Divya. She's the child.
Okay. Nice to know.
Yeah.
If there are no questions, we can go upstairs to the Casa classroom. We have some one work from each of these areas set out, where you can see how your children do that work, how I show them the work. You can see, and also you can have a look around the classroom. We can take a 5-minute break and come up. If you want to drink water, sure. Yeah, no.
What is the ratio of the student and ratio of the Casa? Because here it is 1:8, right?
Toddler, the 1:8 is maximum. Casa it is 1:25 or 30.
That is the prescribed limit.
By the
Because
Montessori.
the focus is on independence.
Independence.
So what if we end up over provisioning, we'll actually interfere with the child's work, independent work. Us being wanting to help the student, whereas if they are going through difficulty, we might end up helping them when we really shouldn't. So that's why one is to 20 to 25.
Just அங்க போய் யாராச்சும் உட்கார்ந்துட்டே இருக்கணுமா? I know he does that now.
That is because he is only near to 2. Once they become 3, the need of the adult will reduce. So that is the transition we look at around 2.5 to 3. They'll start getting ready. The adult need will be there even at 3, but not to this extent.
On the age they might start exerting their need for independence. But
I'll work on my own.
What if 5.5 they're not able to read or write the 5.5 transition? What if that doesn't happen during that period? How will you do it?
What we see is if the child has spent any amount of time, say a couple of years in this CASA classroom, it will happen. It will come together at around 5.5 or around there. So we are not looking for a child who can speed read through a book or anything. They will be able to read. When all the work here, we make sure they are presented all the work here at the appropriate times. And if they have spent some time here in this classroom, they would have picked it up by that time. We'll see if even before then, if it hadn't happened, we'll see what more help we can give this child. So it should be there by 5.5 or around, so give or take.
How do you deal with learning disability?
Learning disabilities. This is an area I'm not very experienced with. Maybe I can ask Sita to look at it.
So when we start at 3 in CASA, practical life, whatever is introduced, we are trained to see if there are any red flags. As such, learning disability will not occur at 6. We can diagnose or we can even find the red flags only after 6. So, but then around 3.5, 4, when something is introduced, if the child shows some challenge, we will keep giving them that extra support, whatever we think is needed around this. But we are not going to hold the child at 5.5 or 6 from sending them to elementary because of this. We will anyway send the child, because other part where the why question, the want of peers, that will all have come up. So we will anyways transition the child to elementary, and in elementary we will keep giving that support. If we feel there are certain red flags, for sure, we have external sources for diagnosis, and that's a different path which we speak to the parents and ask them to go for a diagnosis. And mostly the remedial that anyone suggests will be for the child to be in a Montessori setup. So it works hand in hand. But the diagnosis part, we will have to send the parents and the child outside.
some learning difficulties might also be emotional. The cause might be emotional. So, the child when they are around 8 or 9, if sudden or because of some life event or learning difficulty, it's mostly emotional. So, how we do have therapeutic interventions where how we can help them process the big emotions that they are not able to do with themselves, and we see learning difficulties are eliminated in that also. So, learning difficulty இருந்தாலும் either if the OT materials used in occupational therapy are very much aligned with the class materials. So we can bring in extra resources to support them also. Otherwise, external really if we need an intervention from experts outside, we have partnerships with whom we can recommend also.
So one kid in our family is autistic. He got diagnosed around 3. Like sister is taking him to occupational therapy and speech therapy. That delay was identified at the age of 3. But I told her about the Montessori setup. Now he is 6-year-old. He is writing well and he is very good at maths. So they have a special area where they are very good. So we have to find these things for these type of kids. And Montessori is a good setup. Plus OT and other things.
In the universe, how did you give this?
Sorry?
How did you give this?
Gifted.
Actually, I think
Yeah. Yes.
The first thing to handle a gifted child is to make sure the gift doesn't become a burden. That is the most important. So for the child to fully use the potential of their gift, first it should not come into the way of the child living a normal life. So if the child comes, I will first check with the parents if they are using their child's gift for their own ambition. That is the first thing I prefer. And of course, if a special child, if the child will need guidance to hone their that particular math or board work on the same thing, because the work here is all individualized. So common or so each stage is already going in their own pace and track. So they might end up working advanced materials much sooner. So
That difference won't be very evident as opposed to a traditional school, because here anyways the areas are all separate, and when I say it is individualized, each child is going to go on their own pace. So it won't be a stress on the child as well as the other.
So the thing I noticed, my nephew is different. He is in a Montessori school, but at 4.5, he was bored.
Mm.
He stopped wanting to go to school because he's explored everything that is in their version of the Casa Child. He's not going to move for another year. So this 1 year has been a struggle.
Travel.
Emotionally, bore அடிக்கிறது வேற ஒன்றும் இல்ல பண்றதுக்குன்னா, then a lot of other things that shouldn't really come up at that age come up.
So within the scope of the Casa Child, எவ்வளோ challenges கொடுக்க முடியுமோ கொடுக்கலாம். Beyond that, கண்டிப்பா we should take outside help. And just because a child is not challenged enough with Casa, we can't transition them to elementary, because there are other aspects of their development that the child has to go through. So maybe external support can be sorted. But bearing in mind that the child doesn't end up being pressured because of
in the class meeting, there is scope to stretch whichever area that they are interested in. So it's just finding those extensions for that child.
Which challenges? Transferring through spoons and all that. We have also shown this child how we hold a knife, how we walk with a knife or the scissors. All this has been shown to this child. And now we are going to do this task of dicing carrots. So every day we have carrots which are already cut into strips and kept in the supply shelf here. So which I've already gotten it here. So we are going to see how this child will be shown how to work with this. I'm going to open this oil mat here. Now I'm going to show you how to dice the carrots. Can you bring this bottle here and open it? This child has already has enough practice opening and closing boxes, so child knows. So wherever there are skills that the children have already practiced, we involve the child to do this.
So quietly or?
I
There
imagine
is
your child
no-
always asking questions.
So when presenting, when there is a movement, we don't talk.
Okay.
We don't talk while moving. We don't move while talking. So these are mutually exclusive. So that when I am doing a movement, the child can focus on my hands, focus on what I'm doing, how I'm holding. So we really don't talk when presenting at all. So yeah, for some children, they would like to keep talking. We tell them, now it is time for you to see.
Okay.
That's what we say. This is much easier for a child because their hands are very small. They can just put and take in. May not be so easy for us. I'm going to cut. Are you ready to watch? This piece is small enough. We can leave it like that. Now, would you like to cut some carrots?
Yeah.
So the child continues cutting and we put it in this container and it goes to the snack corner. So whichever child wants to eat the carrots, they can come and eat. So similarly, we have cucumber cutting and other things. So now the child, if you want, you can continue, but the children would typically continue. Usually, especially the first time they do, right, they'll finish this entire supply of carrots in one go. So they'll do that and it will be available once somehow the news spreads that there are carrots to eat, so everybody comes, but of course 2 people can sit and eat the carrots. So once the child is done with this work, I'll come back and show the child how to clean, wash and put it back in the shelf in a way that the next child can take and work. We don't leave anything dirty or anything wet also. We dry it, clean it, and all of this is set according to the order of usage. There is a place where we keep this, there is a place where we keep the cutting board and the drying cloth. So we finish the work, put it on this shelf, and that's when it is fully over. For now, we are going to leave it like this, but child would continue working. Yes.
So the second part doesn't happen at the house.
Here it happens. Here the work doesn't complete until this goes back to the shelf in a way that another child can come and take and work with it.
What I
Like that.
noticed is that the activities we have at home that are Montessori activities, he will diligently put it.
Ah,
Anything else that's a random toy,
we'll just lay wherever it is.
And what we model at home.
Right.
You know that they are used to various model for Montessori materials. Maybe Sita. So maybe he might be putting even for Adi. If you both the parents or the people at home start putting back everything, they'll pick it up on that also. So it's not something that they can learn just here. They need the support at home also. And
Thank you so much.
That I like to point out is you can see her movements were very deliberate, very slow, and sometimes very exaggerated also. So that is very important because for the child, it is a chain of events. So it is important for them to notice every single movement. Cutting here, cutting here, press the board now. From my finger now. The child actually lives in that space. We are only rushing the children. See, maybe we're uncomfortable feeling.
Throw up on.
So, but the child needs that input and the speed and the deliberate. So that deliberate movement is important for the child to internalize this whole thing. And what is the purpose of the mat? Not just for Casa, but toddler. Does anyone want to?
The mat defines your workspace. So this whole space is for like 25, 30 children can be here. So everybody defines, okay, this is my space. This chowki and this mat is a space where I am going to work. When a child sits with this work, nobody else can come and put anything. This is respecting the other people in the environment. And you have a boundary. And so you have started work here. You will finish and put all this away, which you have on the in your space. So it defines your work area first. So there is no randomness here. You take your decision. I want to sit here and work. It doesn't mean that this carrot cutting has to be done here. It can be done there. Anywhere the child is comfortable, they can do it. But they define their workspace and start working.
So the definition of the workspace containment. So the guy in a space I can work under there, it settles them down. This is my, so it's very important for you. Even when they start sweeping activity, we assign a small box. So in the order, this one tile, we can actually mark this tile, and you are going to sweep only this. So even for us, if we take, or even if we are sweeping at home, if we take, okay, right now we are going to sweep just this one room. I don't care about any other room right now. Right now I'm going to do this. That will be a very calming experience. In fact, it can be very meditative, and work can be very meditative. So that is the importance of mat, when it clearly defines all you have to focus is here. Be here and know this is your space. And you can see, since a lot of movement is there, a child might take materials from this and choose to sit in the corner of that room. To set the whole thing, they might move multiple times. So that is very normal in a Montessori classroom. So if you see, there will be a child sitting here, another child here, another child there. There will be mats all over the place. But the respect to other children's work, others' boundaries is very important. So we have grace and courtesy lesson of how to walk around the mat without stepping on another. So it's not about not stepping, it's about respect to another's work, respect to others' boundaries, body boundaries. So the mat is a very fundamental containing element in a Montessori system.
I know my son actually follows that because there was this day I was putting kolam for festival. He'll be like, I'll walk around and he'll actually go without stepping on it.
Because we practice in grace and courtesy lessons, a group of us gather when work is happening in the classroom. We say, now let us walk around the classroom. Even if, say, there are not many children working, we put mats in a lot of places, and we take turns walking around without disturbing any of the mat. We do that as practice here.
One question regarding knife and safety, right? So, how do you know they are ready to actually handle the knife themselves?
They would have done a lot of work here. We see how much control they have using the implements. And like I said before, you can see a tray with a knife, a butter knife and all that. We would have practiced with how do we hold a knife? How do we carry a knife? This is how we carry. And how do we offer a knife? So all these are grace and courtesy lessons which have already been presented to the child. I may not present this activity to a child who is not yet there, who is going to swing around and walk, maybe who don't have that control yet. We are not going to present this to them. When we see that they are able to exhibit that much of control, only then we are going to present this. And also when this work is happening, we are around to always keep an eye, because a child working with a knife, I have seen children working with this in this classroom. They are being very careful. That is how it happens, because they are looking at how I'm doing it. I stop, my hand stays in this end. And once the knife gets closer, I stop. I don't cut anymore. They watch when I do this. And I also keep an eye on them when working on this. They even take this knife and go wash. I show how to safely wash this knife at the sink. Sorry? Kudukla.
That accidents happen as adults. Like, I have regularly burnt myself, cut myself while I'm cooking. How do you expect that they are not going to do that?
Another thing I wanted to add was, here they show how it is to be used. They're not worried about how it is not to be used. So the focus is on what the usage is.
What to do.
So what
We
to
say
do.
what to do, we don't say what not to do. இப்படி பிடிக்காத
அப்படின்னு சொல்லவே மாட்டோம்.
So we say how to
How
hold
to.
it. Always say the do's, never say the don'ts.
Don't.
They will say they do only what we tell them what to do. It's not defiance.
Hmm.
They can't process no. For them, why do they know what to do?
அதுதான்.
It's actually
No, they can't process
The
no
negative.
at all. Negative sentences are not
So
processed.
when we say what not to do, it's another way of using
Doing. Yeah, you are bringing awareness. Don't swing the knife, swing the knife. And the don't flew away.
So பயப்படாம கொடுக்கலாமா அப்படின்னா பயம் நம்ம வந்து we should
இல்ல, I give them, but again,
And
I just keep
yes, it will be there.
So we are lost which child is ready.
Ready for
And based on that information, we are ready to trust the child. Trust the child with the knife. So on our trusting, when we give the knife to the child, actually nothing happens. But if we ourselves are anxious and if we don't trust the child is ready, but end up giving, that's a very good chance that accidents will happen.
The child may absorb what the anxiety that we are feeling. The child may take that in. Okay. So moving on, in this side of the classroom, we have the sensorial material. So different senses are just like how we saw in the presentation below. I have a material out here. It is called the binomial cubes. It is for working with the visual sense. Would anyone like to be the child? You want to? Please come. So this child has already worked with a lot of materials which work their visual sense. So they are fairly probably 4 and 4 plus. They are at that stage where they have almost done a lot of sensorial work in the visual area. So that is when we show this work. So we are going to build binomial cube. Are you ready to watch?
Yes. The red cube, huh?
Yes. It's a red cube.
Bridge mari torka.
Bridge mari torka. So there are lots of prisms and cubes. I'm going to take them out. Do you remember what this is?
Cube.
This is a rectangular prism. Yes.
Rectangular prism.
Remember the geometric solids fitted?
Yes. Yes.
Do you want to feel it?
Rectangular.
Rectangular prism. Right. So imagine when I have a child, the child will be closer to me and they'll be able to see what I'm doing. Can come closer. Usually we don't sit in this corner and do, but since we all wanted you to see, we are in this corner. So now I'm going to build the cube. Okay, binomial cube. You ready to watch?
Red cube.
Red cube.
treadmill are இன்னைக்கு பார்த்தோமே
Yes. We have built the binomial cube. Now you can take everything out and you can build the binomial cube.
okay.
So here, does this ring any bell for you?
Series of various shapes. Are you like putting it all shapes in the same row? How are you putting it back?
I'm putting it back in a certain order, but what you see here, does that look like anything that we have learnt? Yes, we have done it. Not in this form, of course, but we have done it.
That in a traditional school. Math.
Graphs.
Not graphs. This, what you see on the face of this is a plus b the whole square. A square, b square, ab, ab. This 2ab. So this is the a plus b the whole square equation. So this is in 2 dimensions, but this is the cube. If you actually take out all the elements of it, there will be a plus b the whole cube, its expansion. This will be the b cube. The red cube, the fully red cube will be the a cube. And the others will be a combination of a square b and ab square and all that. So of course we don't tell this is what is this equation, but the sensorial impression of it, the concreteness of it just goes in. Maybe when they learn a plus b the whole cube, this comes out. So but this goes in. And here, like I said in the presentation, the control of error is right in the material. So you see how it is supposed to look like in all the faces. It is here on the box. The box tells you this is how it is supposed to look like. You keep like this, you see the same face. In all the sides, if you look, it is the same face. So I don't, nobody has to tell the child. If you build it differently, it will not fit inside this box. So the control of error is built inside this material. So then after this, the child continues to work and they put it back in the shelf. Thank you. So we have the object bag here. Can we look what is inside? Would you like to keep it here and open? Okay. What is this?
Box.
Box. Yes, we have a box. I'm going to keep it here. What is this here?
Nest.
Nest. Yes. Nest.
Bus.
Bus. Yes. Let's keep it here.
Bed.
Yes, it's a bed. Do you want to pick out? This is a drum. You can keep it on this. It's a drum. What is this?
Fan.
Fan. Okay. There are some more, but we are going to work with just this today. Can you keep this pouch on the rack? Preeti, I am thinking of something among these objects. Do you know which one?
Fan.
You don't know? I'm going to give you a clue. Okay? This is the clue. What does it say?
B-A-D.
Can we put those sounds together?
B-A-D.
B-E-D. Bent.
Bend.
Bed. So where is the bed? Yes, it's a bed. Now I'm thinking of something else and I'm going to give you a clue. Okay? This is the clue.
D-R-A-M. 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 Drum.
Drum. Yes, it is drum. You can read now. Yes, I'm going to continue giving more clues and the child will read and match to the objects for which they already know the names of. So after this, the child can work with this. We have prepared cards, as in already these are written and put inside a pouch. So even without the adult, this child cannot read or cannot write yet. So we have already the prepared cards in the pouch. So at the end of this work, I would tell the child, whenever you want, you can take the cards here, you can try to read and match with the objects. So this is the object bag. This child is just introduced to the sandpaper letters. The child knows the sounds. We have played a lot of sound games with this child who is yet to read. So this is the first foray into reading in this classroom. So, and also here it is important in the first time when we show to the child to let them know you can read now. We have tried the different things. We have learned the sounds. We have learned the sandpaper letters. Now you are able to read, and then they move on to other reading materials. So this is
can also be practiced kind of at home, right? Maybe with real objects, or do they have to be in
not yeah, you could do that, I suppose. In the class we have kept it as a material here, so which should be always here. So for this child the order is important. We are not going to gather different things and come and use it. So for that purpose we have it in one place, so whenever they want to practice they can do. But I suppose you can do it at home. You can have a pouch which has all this, and you can. But anyway, your child has opportunity to do that here. So it may not be necessary to do it at home, because we have the next progressions also here. This bag will deal with only the phonetic words which you can read. The sounds make the word, but you have also the words. The next level would be the words which have combined sounds, like the sound sh. It doesn't have its own alphabet, right? It is a combination of alphabets which make the sound sh. So you have the next object back. So we offer it in a progression. So I feel it is sufficient if the child can do it here.
I was actually thinking about it differently, where I don't have to collect the materials, but then let's say bed, he goes and puts it on the bed.
Yeah, it's possible. It is quite possible. In fact, we have a material here which is called environment cards. So we start up like this, but the environment cards are right down. So it is about all the different things in the environment. The child reads. Say it might say sandpaper letter, for example. The child goes and keeps that card in the sandpaper letter. So what you said is there in the class as well. So bucket, the child goes and keeps that, reads and goes and keeps that card in the bucket, and later they'll collect all the cards and put it back into the pouch and keep it on the shelf. So that works. That is there here as well. So we'll put this away. All the units, tens, hundreds, thousands, this child is very aware. And also this child is aware of the arithmetic operations, addition, subtraction, multiplication and division through the golden beads. Inside this is all a lot of golden beads. So they have done addition using those. So in a concrete manner, they have done this work. Now, before, like I said before, we slowly remove the concrete materials and we move on to abstract, as in writing on the paper. This is one of the first steps to it, this material. It is called the stamp game. So now the child's understanding about the difference between a unit and a thousand is very much there because of working with all these material. So here, if you see, they're all in symbols, and there is no size difference between a unit and a thousand. So I'll just, yeah. There is no size difference, just the color difference. So we are removing a lot of concrete materials from here, moving one step closer to abstraction. So today we are going to do addition with stamp material. Do you remember what addition is? We have worked with the golden bead materials. Addition is putting things together, putting quantities together. We are going to do addition with stamp games, with the stamps. And this child has already been introduced to what stamps are, what are the different categories. Say if I give this child a number, the child is able to make that number with the stamps. So for doing addition, let me take a pencil. I'm going to tell a quantity, and can you make that number here on the chowki with the stamps? We can do it together. So the first number we are going to take is 4,324. We are going to make the number 4,324. So how many thousands do we need? 4 thousands. Can we take 4 thousands? Yes. 1,000 underneath. 300s. 300s. Can we make 300s here? Hundreds. Yes. Can give a small gap. We have 100, 200 and 300s. Yes. And how many tens do we need? 2 tens. Can you take 2 tens? Okay. And how many units? 4 units. Can we take 4 units? Okay, we know addition is putting things together, right? We have taken one number. We are going to take another now. I'm going to write the other number. One 1,213. Can we make the number 1,213? We are going to make it under here. How many thousands? 1,000. Yeah. 200s. 110. And 3 units. Yes. So we have made both the numbers. And we are going to add, we are going to do addition, which is putting these two numbers together. The symbol for addition is we use red only. Yeah. Okay, it's okay.
What is it?
Yeah, red. We have different operations coded in different colors. Red is for addition. You see all the shelves. It is again a sensorial impression for these children before fully abstracting. So if you see, there will be other colors also. Those are for other operations.
Is it the Montessori way of learning?
Yes, in Montessori. Yeah. Now, like we know, addition is putting things together. Shall we put these two quantities together?
Yeah.
Do you remember when we did the golden beads addition? Which category did we start with? Addition starts with units. We are going to put the units together. After units, it is tens. After tens, it is hundreds. And then the thousands. Now we have done addition with these two numbers. Can we find out what this big number is now? Okay. Let us start with the units. Let us count. 1 unit, 2 units, 3 units, 4 units, 5 units, 6 units, 7 units. So we are going to write 7 here, right under the other units. Now we are going to count the tens. 1 10, 2 tens, 3 tens. Can we count the hundreds now? Do you want to try? Yes.
100, 200, 300, 400, 500.
500, yes. Can you count the thousands?
1000, 2000, 3000, 4000, 5000.
5,000. Yes. We added 4,324 and 1,213. And the sum that we got, remember the answer for an addition is called the sum. The sum we have got is